There is a whisper within you that existed before your name. Before the world taught you how to fear, how to shrink, how to ache, under the weight of comparison, there was a presence still, silent, and infinitely sure of itself. It did not question its worth. It did not ask for permission. It simply was. And that presence, that soul, is still you, untouched by the noise, untouched by the illusion of insufficiency. Doubt. Doubt. That ancient shadow. It comes cloaked in logic and fear, disguised as caution and dressed in reason. It sits beside you, not with malice, but with misunderstanding. Doubt is not your enemy. It is merely the signal that you have begun to wander away from who you truly are. It is the alarm that rings when you lean too far into the identity the world gave you and too far from the one your soul remembers. You see, doubt is not a truth. It never was. Doubt is a cloud, and you, dear soul, are the sky. A sky has no quarrel with clouds. It does not rage against them. It allows them to pass, knowing they are transient, while it remains infinite, unharmed whole. The same is true for you. You were not born with doubt. A newborn doesn't question whether its cry deserves to be heard, whether its needs are valid, whether it has the right to take up space. That kind of questioning is learned. That kind of questioning is handed down through systems, through wounded voices, through fearful eyes, but it is not native to your spirit. So what is doubt then? But a bell, a sacred bell reminding you to return home to truth, to remember. You are not your fear. You are not your mistakes. You are not your temporary thoughts. You are not your credentials. You are not your failures. You are not the voice in your head that trembles in the face of greatness. You are not that hesitation. You are the one observing it. And the observer is always free. The ego will try to convince you that doubt is your compass, that safety is found in questioning yourself, that humility means shrinking to fit into molds that comfort others. But this is not humility. That is fear masquerading as wisdom. True humility is not hiding your light. It is knowing your light is not your own. It belongs to something greater that chose to shine through you. You were chosen to be here, not by accident, not randomly. The infinite does not roll dice. The divine intelligence that beats your heart, that breathes through the trees, that sends waves to kiss the shore in perfect rhythm, placed you here on purpose. In this body, in this time, with these dreams. And doubt, though it may rise like a wave, has no power to unwrite that truth. Listen to me now, not with your ears, but with your essence. When doubt shows up, do not run. Do not shrink. Do not believe its voice without question. Instead, pause and go deeper. Ask it gently, what are you trying to protect me from? You'll find that beneath doubt is usually an old wound, the fear of rejection, of not being enough, of being seen and judged. But your spirit is not woundable. Only the ego bleeds in the battle of perception. The soul cannot be harmed. Doubt is a signal that the ego has taken the driver's seat. And in that moment, it is not truth that you are hearing, it is programming. It is the echo of someone else's fear, someone else's limitation, dressed up in your own voice. But don't condemn it. Don't fight it. Sit with it like a teacher, because all of life is teaching you how to return to love. Even your doubt is a doorway if you're willing to walk through it. You see, we've confused certainty with arrogance, and in doing so, we've handed our power to hesitation. But what if certainty isn't arrogance at all? What if it's reverence? What if being certain in your worth is not pride, but obedience to the truth that God placed inside you? What if refusing to shrink is not selfishness, but surrender? Surrender to the brilliance that wants to live through you? Every time you doubt yourself, you are not dishonoring your mind. You are dishonoring your source, because you were not created to tiptoe through life apologizing for your existence. You were sculpted in the image of something eternal, something that does not hesitate, something that does not tremble, something that does not forget itself. And yet, Here you are doubting your calling, your art, your message, your beauty, your timing. But I'll tell you something, and you must let it pierce the noise. You do not need to be perfect to be purposeful. You do not need to be fearless to be faithful. You do not need to know everything to begin. Doubt says, wait until you're ready. But the soul says, you are already becoming. When a seed is buried in the darkness, it does not doubt the sun. It does not question whether it will reach the sky. It leans, it stretches, it opens, because it knows that growing pains are not proof of failure, but signs of life. So when your doubt feels heavy, remember this: growth often feels like uncertainty. But uncertainty is not absence of truth. It is the space where truth is waiting to be remembered. So begin. Begin even if your hands shake. Begin even if your voice trembles. Begin even if your knees are weak. Because motion clarifies. The soul doesn't need all the answers. It just needs your willingness to move. And what of failure? What of rejection? What if it doesn't work? Well, what if it does? What if the life you are imagining is not a fantasy, but a memory, a soul memory of what you were always meant to become? What if your longing is not a weakness, but a compass? What if your ache is not a sign of emptiness, but of calling? You've been told to be realistic, but realism is just a prison built by those who've forgotten how to dream. And you, my dear, are a dreamer. Not the shallow dreamer of escape, but the deep dreamer of awakening. The one who sees with the eyes of the soul and knows that this world is but a mirror of what is believed to be possible. So change the mirror, change the thought. Doubt is a reflection, not a decree. And you are the one holding the glass. Keep walking. The road to awakening is not paved with certainty, it is carved with trust. It is walked by those who feel the doubt and go anyway. By those who know that a feeling is not a command, that fear is not prophecy, that hesitation is not the same as halting your destiny. Every great soul felt doubt. Every enlightened being questioned the path, but they did not stop, and neither should you. Because there's someone watching you, someone who sees you as proof that it's possible, someone who is waiting to believe in themselves because you believed in you. And when you move through your doubt, you don't just free yourself, you free generations. You free hearts that you'll never even meet. And isn't that reason enough? So the next time doubt rises, smile gently at it. Say, thank you for the signal, but I remember the truth now. And keep going, because you are not here to live from fear. You are here to live from freedom. And doubt is just the smoke. You, my dear, are the fire. You, who stand at the edge of something new, something vast, something terrifying in its potential, do not mistake your racing heart for a stop sign. Do not confuse the flutter in your chest with the voice of truth. That flutter is simply your body remembering how much power lives in you. And power, when it is not claimed, will always feel like fear. But it's not fear you're feeling, it's awakening. It's expansion. It's the sacred stretch of your soul reaching beyond the boundaries your mind constructed to feel safe. Doubt is the tension between the self you have known and the self you are being invited to become. And every time you feel it rise, know that it is not asking you to retreat, it is asking you to rise. You were never meant to stay the same. Nature doesn't apologize for its blooming. The moon does not mourn its changing face. The ocean does not doubt its tide. So why do you doubt your becoming? Why do you hesitate when the winds of change are moving you? Why do you resist the very unfolding that life designed for your liberation? Because you were taught to worship certainty. You were taught to find comfort in sameness. You were taught that safety lives in the familiar. But here's what your soul knows. Safety is not found in predictability, it is found in presence. The more rooted you become in the now, the less you will need the illusion of control. Doubt feeds on the past and the future. It cannot survive in the sanctuary of this moment. It needs a mind racing with what ifs. but the soul breathes, I am. Breathe that in. I am, not I will be when, not I was before, but I am. That is the name of the divine. That is the mantra of the awakened. That is the power that moves through you even as you tremble. You see, your worth is not up for negotiation. It is not based on performance. It is not dependent on the opinions of others. It is not measured by likes or praise or outcome. Your worth is fixed, unshakable, eternal. Like the sun that keeps shining, even when clouds try to hide it, your value remains. No matter what voices rise against Itivan, your own. And the voices will rise. They will whisper, who are you to speak? Who are you to lead? Who are you to shine, to sing, to build, to believe? But you must learn to answer them not with force, not with aggression, but with truth. You answer with a quiet, unwavering knowing, I am a child of the infinite. I am a vessel of divine intelligence. I am here not to be small, but to be real, to be whole, to be light. Even the Buddha felt doubt under the Bodhi tree. Even Christ felt the weight of uncertainty in the garden. Even the saints and sages cried out in the darkness of their becoming, but they did not stop. They did not let doubt dictate their destiny, and neither must you. There will be days when the path ahead seems blurry. There will be moments when your old self begs you to turn back. But I promise you this, clarity lives on the other side of commitment. When you commit to the truth of who you are, when you commit to walking even when it's dark, the light will find you. You are being sculpted by the hands of the universe. And every moment of doubt is not a flawet, is part of the chiseling, the cracking, the awakening, the refinement of who you were never meant to be, falling away so that who you truly are can emerge. Let it fall. Let the old ideas of who you had to be dissolve. Let the roles you wore to please the world slip off your shoulders. Let the mask of not enough melt in the fire of your truth. You are more than the doubt you carry. You are the awareness behind it. You are not the storm, you are the sky that holds it. You are not the ache, you are the breath that moves through it. You are not the noise, you are the silence underneath. And in that silence is peace. In that silence is the memory of who you were before the world taught you how to be afraid. Return to it. Return to yourself. Not the self shaped by survival, but the self born in stillness. Your soul did not come here to blend in. It came to break open, to burn away illusions, to dissolve falsehoods, to rise with every fall, to become a living testament that the truth is not something you find, it is something you remember. So when doubt comes again, and it will, don't run from it, don't fight it, don't treat it as an enemy. Welcome it like a wise friend who reminds you to choose to believe in something deeper, choose to trust the unfolding, choose to stand in the truth that even your doubt is part of the dance. It does not cancel your divinity, it does not undo your destiny. It only invites you to lean closer to your knowing. And your knowing, it's still there, waiting like a quiet flame beneath the surface, like a lighthouse in the fog, like a mother's voice calling you home. You don't have to wait until you're fearless to move forward. You only have to remember that fear is not the same as truth. Doubt is not a verdict, it is an invitation to pause, to breathe, to realign with the source that never doubted you. Not once, not ever. Would the divine create a soul unworthy of its own light? Would the infinite place you here without equipping you for the path? Would the same power that orbits the stars, paints the skies, and grows the forests ever leave you without purpose? No, you are here because you are needed. You are alive because something greater still wants to express through you. And though the mind may doubt, the spirit never does. It knows. It always knows. And so must you. Do not be surprised when doubt arrives dressed as logic. It wears the mask of reason, the language of caution, and the tone of someone trying to protect you. But be wise enough to recognize that not all protectors are aligned with your expansion. Some parts of you want safety more than freedom. Some thoughts would rather you stay in the cage, because the air outside, though fresh, is unfamiliar. But you must decide, will you live a life of comfort in limitation or courage in liberation? Every time you hesitate to speak your truth, to follow your vision, to take the next step, ask yourself, who is doubting? What voice is this? Is it the voice of the timeless, boundless self within me? Or is it the echo of past wounds, unhealed memories, and inherited fears? Trace it back, follow the thread. Doubt is never rooted in the know-it, is a ripple from what was or what might be. It cannot live in the breath you are taking right now, in this very moment, where nothing is missing. You've given doubt too much authority. You've let it sit at the table of your decisions. You've treated it like a wise elder when it is only a child afraid of the dark. But you are no longer that child. You are the light now. You are the calm presence that holds the fear without collapsing into it. You are the parent to your own mind. You are the keeper of your own soul. You must lead yourself home. When the world says, play small, your spirit says, rise up. When society screams, fit in, your essence whispers, stand out. When doubt pleads, wait until you're certain, the voice of truth, deep and ancient, smiles and says, begin now. Doubt thrives in delay. It feeds on pause. It grows in the gaps between your calling and your action. But action is the antidote. Move, even if your steps are unsure. Speak, even if your voice shakes. Show up. Not because you are unafraid, but because you are unwilling to be ruled by fear any longer. This is the path of the awakened. This is the way of the soul-led life. It is not absence of doubt, it is mastery over it. It is hearing the noise and choosing the silence. It is feeling the quake in your chest and walking forward anyway. It is allowing fear to ride in the car, but never ever letting it touch the wheel. Because your destiny is not built on the absence of resistance. It is forged in the fire of movement despite resistance. Every act of courage weakens the grip of doubt. Every time you honor your inner voice over the voices outside, you rewire your nervous system to trust the divine blueprint etched into your being. There is a compass in your chest. It doesn't point north, it points inward. It points toward alignment, resonance, truth. And when you follow it, even when it defies reason, even when others don't understand, you feel it, you feel alive. That feeling is your soul clapping. That feeling is God saying, yes, that's it. Keep going. You see, doubt is not a wall, it's a door. But it will not swing open unless you knock with your faith. You must lean into what scares you, not to prove something, but to remember something, that the light within you cannot be extinguished by uncertainty, that you were born with a fire the world cannot define, that there is something in you greater than every fear combined. The sages were not fearless, they were just practiced in silence. They heard the same noise, but they returned to stillness quicker. They didn't argue with their thoughts, they watched them drift by like clouds in a sky that cannot be stained. And you too can be that sky. You too can be that vast, that free, that anchored in the knowing that your thoughts are weather, not the landscape. Let it pass. Let it move. Let the doubts come and go, but do not give them names. Do not build temples to your hesitation. Do not make an identity out of your indecision. You are not your stuckness. You are not your spiral. You are not the delay. You are the witness. And the witness is always whole. Come back to wholeness. Come back to breath. Come back to this moment where nothing is broken, nothing is missing, nothing is wrong. Because right here in the stillness between heartbeats, you are safe, you are seen, you are chosen. You are enough not in some future version of yourself, not after you achieve or fix or earn something, but now, always now. And from that place of enoughness, You can act. You can give. You can speak. You can love. You can rise. Not to prove anything, but to be who you already are. To express what the infinite is placed within you. To echo the song of your soul into a world starved of truth. You do not need to understand the entire path to take the next step. You do not need to silence every doubt to speak your message. You do not need to be fearless to be faithful. You just need to say yes, though, the now, to the call, to the truth that lives in your bones. And when doubt comes, as it will, greet it with grace. Greet it with gratitude. Say, thank you for reminding me where I still hesitate to trust. Thank you for showing me where I still think I am separate from source. Thank you for being the signal that points me back to my center. Because that's all it is, a signal. A signal that the ego is speaking louder than the soul. A signal that you are on the brink of something sacred. A signal that you are standing at the doorway of your next becoming. But the truth is not in the noise. The truth is in the stillness. The truth is in your breath. The truth is in your knowing. That cannot be touched by thought. And that truth, it will always wait for you. Patient, loving, undisturbed, like the sun waiting behind every storm, like love waiting beneath every fear, like God waiting behind every doubt. The voice of doubt is loud because it's trying to be believed. It shouts because it knows it is fragile. It trembles behind its volume. But the voice of truth does not shout. It whispers because it doesn't need to convince you. It only needs to remind you. And when you are quiet enough, still enough, surrendered enough, you hear it. In the pause between worries, in the breath between thoughts, in the silence beneath your striving, you hear the sacred reminder, I am. I am the breath. I am the awareness. I am the presence that is never afraid, never rushed, never doubting. I am that which watches the storm, but is not swept by it. You were never asked to be perfect, only present. You were never required to know everything, only to trust. You were never told to avoid the unknown, only to walk with it, hand in hand with faith. And this is where your true power lives, not in mastering every detail, not in controlling every outcome, but in remembering who walks with you, who breathes through you, who lives inside you. The divine is not outside, it is not elsewhere, it is not later, it is now. And now is where the miracle begins. Doubt is a veil, thin and trembling. When you stop feeding it with your energy, it falls. What remains is clarity. Not the clarity of perfect plans, but the clarity of presence. The clarity that says, I may not know where this path leads, but I know who I am as I walk it. You were created from certainty, not fear. You were formed in wholeness, not lack. The fabric of your being is stitched together with purpose. Your soul is older than your fear, so live like it. Speak with the weight of ancient knowing. Walk with the peace of those who remember eternity. Act not because you are certain, but because you are called. Because this world doesn't need more people hiding behind logic. It needs people daring to live from love. People bold enough to stand in their truth, even with shaking knees. People honest enough to say, yes, I doubt, but I will not let it define me. The world needs your light, not when it's perfect, but now. Not when it's certain, but now. Not when everyone approves, but now. Because your soul didn't come here to play a role. It came to shatter illusion. It came to heal the lineage. It came to anchor heaven into earth. You think your life is small? There is no such thing. Every moment of courage, every act of truth, every breath taken in alignment ripples into the collective field. What you overcome in silence is felt in the unseen. What you heal in private transforms humanity. You are not alone in this journey, not ever. You walk with ancestors who pray through your voice. You rise with future generations carried on your shoulders. You awaken not just for yourself, but for the world. So when doubt says, stay small, Remember that your expansion is an act of service. When doubt says, don't speak, remember that your voice is medicine. When doubt says, you're not ready, remember that readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You decide to trust. You decide to act. You decide to believe that the divine would not place a dream in your heart without also placing the power to realize it in your hands. Yes, there will be moments when you falter, moments when your knees buckle under the pressure, moments when it all feels too big. But in those moments, return to breath, return to being, return to the eternal truth. You are not doing this alone. You are being carried. You are being breathed. You are being guided by something that never doubts your worth, your place, your timing. So align with that, speak from that, live from that, and let the doubt dissolve in the radiance of your faith. Let it pass like morning fog under the noonday sun. Let it go like a wave that has served its purpose, and rise again and again as the soul who remembers, because memory is the path, not memory of the mind, but of the spirit. The memory that says, I am more than this fear, I am more than this moment, I am the light behind the cloud, I am the stillness beneath the roar, I am the breath of God in motion. And when you remember that, when you truly remember, you become unstoppable. Not because you never fall, but because you know how to rise. Not because the path is easy, but because you no longer need it to be. Not because you never doubt, but because you know doubt is only a signal, not a truth. You were not sent here to convince the world of your worth. You were sent to embody it, to walk through life with the quiet knowing that you are a thread in the infinite tapestry of existence. You belong, not because you earned it, but because you are, and that is enough. Doubt tries to steal that knowing. It tries to bargain with your worth, to attach it to outcomes and applause and proof. But worth that must be proven is not true. Worth it is performance. And your soul came to be, not perform. Your being is the blessing. Your presence is the gift. And when you return to that truth, your doubt loses its grip. Because what is there to doubt when you are already complete? You are not incomplete. You are in progress. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not behind. You are exactly on time. And even your detours are part of the design. Even your confusion is sacred. Even your delay is divine. Nothing is wasted when you walk with awareness. Everything belongs when you walk with love. This is not about perfection. This is not about doing it right. This is about being real, about being whole, about saying yes to your spirit, even when your mind protests, about standing up again and again, even if the world has not yet clapped, because the applause that matters comes from within. It comes from alignment. It comes from peace. It comes from that still voice inside that whispers, yes, this is the way. Your life is not an accident. Your dreams are not delusion. Your voice is not irrelevant. And your doubts are not destiny. They are only signal echoes passing storms. Do not anchor yourself in them. Anchor yourself in love, in truth, in the deep ocean of spirit that never changes, no matter how loud the winds howl. Have you forgotten how powerful you are? Look at how many doubts you've already survived. Look at how many fears you've already walked through. Look at the moments when you were certain it was over, and yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still becoming. That is not weakness. That is power. That is resilience. That is the presence of something eternal within you. And if it's been with you this far, do you not trust it to carry you further? The oak tree does not ask for proof of its roots before it grows. The river does not doubt its right to flow. The dawn does not hesitate to break through darkness. And you, child of the infinite why, would you doubt your light? Why would you wait for the world's permission to shine? Why would you hold back the medicine in your voice, the truth in your step, the power in your presence? The world is aching for the very thing you are withholding. Your clarity, your courage, your conviction, and you don't need to wait until you feel ready to give it. Readiness is not a prerequisite for transformation. Willingness is. You are not here to rehearse life. You are here to live it, to leap before you feel fully prepared, to speak even when your voice is rough, to write the book while your hands still shake, to love before the fear is gone, to believe before you see the result, because belief is not the product of evidence, it is the soil that grows it. And you were born to believe, not in fantasy, but in the deeper reality that your mind has forgotten and your soul has never lost. You are the breath of God made flesh. You are the pause between stars. You are the living proof that the infinite wants to experience life in human form. And when you move in alignment with that, doubt may knock, but it cannot enter. Fear may speak, but it cannot command. The noise may rise, but it cannot drown your knowing, because truth lives deeper, and your life, when lived from that depth, becomes a lighthouse for others lost in their own storms. You may never know how many are saved by your light. You may never see the waves you calm with your presence. But you must trust that the light you carry has purpose far beyond your eyes. So do not let doubt silence it. Do not let fear smother it. Do not let delay distract it. Fan the flame. Speak the word. Walk the path. Even if no one claps. Even if no one sees. Even if your hands shake and your knees tremble. Because your soul sees. Because your soul knows. And in the end, that is the only knowing that matters. That is the only truth that will remain when the noise has passed. That you were here, that you lived, that you remembered, that you became what you already were, that you let the signal of doubt guide you back to the fire of truth, that you honored the divine not by avoiding fear, but by walking through it with your eyes wide open, your heart even wider, and your spirit untouched. And when the day comes that your journey is complete, you will look back and smile, not because you had no doubt, but because you never let it decide who you would be. You chose love. You chose truth. You chose the breath beneath the fear. And that, my beloved soul, is the only victory that matters. That you remembered. Doubt is only a signal, never a truth. We all live in the presence of what we imagine to be an ideal future, and yet, in our fixation on what lies ahead, we often miss the richness, the fullness, the utter magnificence of the present moment. There are many who are consumed with the idea of what they have not yet achieved, of where they are not yet, of what they have not yet experienced. And in this pursuit, they forget the life that is unfolding right in front of them. The truth is, the only life that truly exists is this one, the one happening right now. The future is a mere illusion. It is not a place you arrive at, but a destination made from the thoughts you carry today. If you allow yourself to be entranced by the future, you may find yourself missing the only moment that truly matters, the one you are living right now. Do you understand that the present moment is all there ever is? The future that you chase is a mirage that promises happiness, but it never truly arrives. The only true moment of power is this very second, right now. You are here, breathing, feeling, being, and yet so many of us are looking beyond, yearning for what's next. We race towards some undefined goal, thinking that we will find fulfillment when we reach it, but fulfillment is already available to you in the here and now, if only you open your eyes to it. The ego tells us that we need more achievements, more possessions, more approval, and as we chase these external markers, we forget that the greatest fulfillment lies within. It is not in the future that we will find peace. It is right now in the stillness of our being, where we reconnect to the soul, to the divine essence that has always been there. The truth is, you were born into wholeness. The story of your life has always been unfolding, and it will continue to unfold, but only when you stop chasing a future that is perpetually out of reach and begin embracing the beauty of now. I want to remind you of something fundamental. You are not your ego. You are not the achievements you think you need to attain to prove your worth. Your ego will continue to chase after approval, success, recognition, but none of these things can ever define you. When you realize that you are not your ego, you will stop chasing after a future that keeps you bound to the illusion of lack. You will understand that you are already whole. You are already enough. And this understanding will transform your experience of life. Imagine, if you will, for a moment, that you were freed from the need to chase anything. No more measuring yourself against others. No more striving for a future that seems ever elusive. What if, instead of striving, you chose to simply be? You are already everything you seek. It's within you right now. The keys to the kingdom are not hidden in some distant time, but right within your heart in the present moment. When you release the need to chase a future, you align with the truth that you are a divine being, and you stop living in the dream of what could be. You come home to the now, to the space where true peace exists. You see, there is great wisdom in the present. In this moment, your life is already unfolding in the way it is meant to. Every breath, every beat of your heart, every thought and every emotion, it is all part of the divine plan that is woven into the fabric of your soul. The future is a projection of your mind, an image shaped by your desires, your fears, your fantasies, but it is not real. The real power, the real magic is in your willingness to be present, to surrender the past, to release the future, and to live in this moment with full awareness. In every moment, the soul whispers to you. The soul does not reside in the future. It is not concerned with what will be, because it knows the deep truth that it is eternal, unchanging, and free. The soul knows that you are not defined by the conditions of your life. You are not limited by your circumstances. The soul speaks in stillness, in presence. It does not demand, it does not chase. It is already whole, already complete, and it invites you to remember this truth. So, I ask you, what is it that you are chasing? What future are you running toward? And when you get there, when you finally reach that elusive destination, will you truly find what you are looking for? Or will you find, as so many before you have, that the future is always moving just out of reach, and by the time you arrive, it will already be yesterday? The future, my friend, is an illusion. It is always tomorrow, never now. In your life, what if you chose to stop chasing and began to simply live? What if you allowed yourself the grace to rest in the present moment? The moment you stop striving, the moment you stop trying to outrun yourself, is the moment you begin to truly live. Life is not a race. It is not a series of milestones you must reach to be worthy. Life is an unfolding journey, and every moment you miss chasing a distant future is a moment you will never get back. You are the author of your life, and you do not need to wait for the perfect future to write your story. You can begin right now. The beauty of the present moment is that it is all you ever need. The world is in constant motion, and yet, here you are, standing still in the vast expanse of time with everything you need to experience peace and fulfillment within you. When you realize this, you stop running. You stop chasing. You stop measuring yourself by what you haven't yet achieved. You begin to see that you are already enough, that you are already whole, and that this moment is where life is truly happening. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment to feel at peace. You don't have to wait until you have more success, more love, more recognition. The fullness you seek is already here, in the now. When you embrace the present, you release the burden of waiting for something outside of you to change. The peace you seek is not found in some distant future, but in the quiet acceptance of this very moment. When you stop chasing the future, you are free to live your life fully. The soul is not concerned with tomorrow. It is concerned only with this moment, this breath, this step. And so, my friend, I invite you to join the soul in this dance of life. Be present. Stop waiting. Stop chasing. The future will come, but it will come on its own terms. It will unfold in its own time, and when it does, you will be ready, not because you spent your days chasing it, but because you spent your days living fully in the now. You are not defined by what you have or have not achieved. You are defined by your capacity to be present, to be whole, to be at peace, and in this peace, all things are possible. When you stop chasing a future, you align with the divine flow of life, and you begin to experience the miracles of the present moment. The future is not a place you get to. It is a series of moments strung together, and every moment you live is a gift. Don't miss your life chasing a future that has not yet arrived. Live now. And in that living, you will discover that you are everything you have ever sought. In this life, the only certainty is the present. And so, my friend, I leave you with this truth. Do not chase a future that will never be. Live in the now. Embrace the fullness of the present. For in doing so, you will discover that you are already enough, that you are already whole, and that you are already living the life you have been seeking all along. Let go, be here, be now. As you breathe, you begin to understand the simplicity of the truth. Life is not something you have to force. It is something you flow with. In the dance between your breath and the beating of your heart, there is a harmony that transcends the chaos of the world. It is in the silence between your thoughts, in the stillness between your movements, that you find the deepest connection to your soul. You see, you are not meant to fight life, you are meant to align with it. The more you fight, the more you separate yourself from the peace that is your birthright. But when you release the need to control, the struggle ceases, and the universe begins to work with you, not against you. In this moment of surrender, you start to feel a shift, a subtle yet profound shift. You begin to see yourself not as an individual fighting against the tides, but as an integral part of the vast ocean. The waves come and go, but the ocean remains, unshaken, ever-present, eternal. You are that ocean. The waves of life, joy, pain, success, failure are simply passing moments. They do not define you. What defines you is the essence of your being, the stillness that remains when everything else fades away. Now, let us be clear. This is not to say that life will become easy. The ebb and flow will continue. The challenges will arise. The storm clouds will gather. But when you are aligned with your truth, when you are grounded in the stillness that resides deep within you, nothing can disturb your peace. You will find that even in the midst of the storm, you can remain calm. You will find that the world may spin, but you are anchored. And in this anchoring, there is a wisdom that begins to awaken within you. It is the wisdom of the soul ancient, timeless, and always present. The wisdom that tells you that you are not your circumstances, you are the observer of your circumstances. You are the space in which everything occurs, and in this space there is infinite potential for creation. It is not in the effort that you find your power, but in the surrender. It is in the letting go of the need to control that you discover your true strength. The strength of the soul is not the strength to manipulate or force things into being. It is the strength to trust, to allow, to flow with the current of life. And when you do this, when you release the need to hold on, you will discover that everything you have been searching for has always been here inside of you. You see, the journey is not about becoming something you are not. It is about unbecoming everything that you are not. It is about stripping away the layers of conditioning, the layers of fear, the layers of self-doubt that have been placed upon you by others, by society, and by your own mind. These layers obscure the truth of who you are. But when you release them, when you breathe and let them go, you uncover the radiant being that you have always been. This is the power of realignment, is the power of returning to your true self. The self that was never broken, never lost, never lacking. You have always been whole. You have always been complete. And as you let go of the past, you make room for the future to unfold, not as a series of random events, but as a deliberate expression of your soul's purpose. So, what happens when you realign? The answer is simple. You begin to see the world differently. You begin to see that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Every person that enters your life, no matter how they appear, is a reflection of your own inner state. You begin to realize that everything that happens for you, not to you. And with this realization comes a deep sense of peace, for you understand that you are not a victim of life, but a co-creator. And this is the most empowering truth you will ever come to know. You have the power to create your reality. It is not your circumstances that shape you, but the way you respond to them. When you breathe deeply, when you release the old stories, when you realign with your soul, you open yourself up to the infinite possibilities that are available to you. You become the creator of your experience. You begin to live with purpose, with intention, and with a sense of divine direction. But this requires trust. Trust that the universe knows what you need before you even ask. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even when it doesn't look the way you think it should. Trust that every experience, no matter how challenging, is part of your soul's evolution. And when you trust, you stop resisting. You stop pushing against the current. You stop trying to force life into a mold that is not meant for you. And in that space of trust, you allow life to move you, guide you, and shape you into the highest expression of yourself. Breathe, release, realign. In this simple practice lies the key to your transformation. It is not complicated. It is not something that requires years of study or self-improvement. It is simply a choice. A choice to let go of the illusions that you are not enough, that you are not worthy, that you are not deserving of all the good that life has to offer. It is a choice to align with the truth that you are already whole, already abundant, already free. And as you make that choice, you begin to live in a way that reflects the infinite love and power that resides within you. This is the gift that life offers you in every moment, the gift of choice. The choice to breathe deeply, to release what no longer serves you, and to realign with the truth of who you are. The choice to trust in the flow of life, to let go of the need for control, and to surrender to the wisdom of the soul. And as you do this, you will find that life becomes easier, more fulfilling, more joyful, and more aligned with your highest purpose. So, my friend, I invite you to take a deep breath with me now, to feel the life force that flows through you, to release all the doubts, all the fears, all the burdens that you've been carrying, to realign with your soul, with your true self. And as you do, know that you are not alone. The entire universe is supporting you. You are loved, you are enough, you are free. Breathe, release, realign, and know that you are exactly where you need to be. There comes a sacred turning point, quiet, unannounced, when you no longer crave escape because you have found sanctuary in your own presence. Not because life has become less demanding, but because your relationship to it is transformed. You begin to realize that peace is not the absence of pressure, it is the presence of clarity within it. And this clarity is born not from answers, but from stillness. A stillness so honest that it silences all false narratives with one whisper of truth. You were never lost. You were only distracted from the center. In this rediscovery, you feel a different kind of strength. Take root not the kind that battles for survival, but the kind that blooms in surrender. Not the might that shouts, but the power that listens. You begin to trust the pauses between decisions, the soft intuition that rises without effort. And with each choice made from this place of inner listening, your life aligns not in some distant future, but right here, beneath your feet. What you once labeled as delays or detours are now seen as sacred recalibrations. The very things you thought were working against you have quietly been rerouting you toward deeper wholeness. There is wisdom hidden in the waiting, in the pauses that used to frustrate you. There is grace in the detours that protect you from destinations too small for your soul. Life you now see has always been more interested in your becoming than your arriving. As you return to this deeper way of being, you no longer seek to fill the silence with noise. The quiet becomes your teacher, revealing that many of your anxieties were born not from reality, but from the mind's habit of forecasting storms that never arrive. You begin to notice the way serenity arises when you stop asking life to match your plans and instead begin listening to what life itself is asking of you. In that listening, a softer rhythm emerges. You no longer wake to a to-do list of worthiness. You rise with reverence. You move not out of obligation, but out of alignment. You speak less to be understood and more to express the integrity of your spirit. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to remain rooted rather than react. Every challenge becomes a portal not to power over anything, but to power within everything. This inner anchoring changes the nature of your presence, not in some performance of enlightenment, but in the effortless way your calm steadies the atmosphere around you. You become less interested in persuading the world and more committed to embodying truth. Your very existence becomes a quiet invitation. Come sit in your own soul for a while. You are safe here. And the world, without knowing why, begins to breathe easier around you. As you continue to move through life from this deeper alignment, urgency falls away. You no longer measure your worth by milestones or timelines. You know now that the most sacred unfolding cannot be rushed. That becoming is not a race, it's a revelation. And revelation does not arrive by force, but by faith. Faith in the unseen, faith in the whispers, faith in the unfolding architecture of your spirit's expansion. You stop chasing closure and start inviting openness. You stop clinging to outcomes and start honoring the process. You stop bargaining with life and start dancing with it. Because in this state of real union with your truth, you realize there is nothing to win and nothing to prove. There is only the beauty of participating fully, honestly, and consciously in the miracle of being alive. And perhaps the most radical shift of all is this: you begin to forgive yourself. Not just for the mistakes, but for the misunderstanding that you were ever broken to begin with. You no longer carry shame like a shadow. You walk forward in the light of compassion. You understand now that self-forgiveness is not an erasure of responsibility. It is the deepest form of responsibility to heal, to grow, and to stop making yourself smaller than the love that lives inside you. So let this moment be a new kind of vow, not a promise to change everything overnight, but a sacred willingness to stay awake, to be present, to honor the unfolding of your soul's unique rhythm. Let your life become less about what you're trying to fix and more about what you're learning to feel, to love, to witness without judgment. That is where the real alchemy lives. And with every breath that enters your body now, feel this deeper alignment settling in, not as a destination reached, but as a homecoming allowed. There's no need to chase healing. There's only the invitation to stay open to it, to become spacious enough for it to happen through you. Life does not need your perfection. It needs your participation, your willingness to show up with honesty and softness, your courage to walk the path barefoot, one step at a time toward truth. So walk on tenderly, boldly, without the burden of needing to understand everything. Walk not to escape where you are, but to meet more of who you are. And with each breath, with each quiet act of letting go, you will discover the path has been loving you forward all along. And now, as this path of remembrance draws near its quiet close, feel within you the stillness that has always been there like an ancient lake untouched by the winds of time. It does not demand attention. It does not cry out. It simply waits for your return. This stillness is your truth. Not what the world asked you to become, not what fear tried to sculpt, but the eternal presence that has always watched patiently as you wandered, knowing you would one day return not with shame, but with reverence. You do not arrive here empty-handed. You carry sacred lessons written in the ink of experience. You carry softened edges where once there were thorns. You carry an open heart, cracked not by loss, but by awakening. And through those cracks, light has entered, not the kind that blinds, but the kind that reveals, light that does not burn away who you were, but blesses it, honors it, forgives it. You see now, even the detours had holy hands guiding them. Even your wounds had wisdom folded inside. You were never off course. You were never behind. You were simply being unraveled, gently, lovingly, until your soul could fit back into its rightful form. What grace, then, to see that all along the obstacles were teachers, the delays were sacred pauses, the heartbreaks were doorways. Each one broke something false apart. Each one led you deeper, not into despair, but into depth. Not into despair, but into truth. And what is that truth, really? It is not some grand philosophy. It is something you can feel, even when words fall short. It is the knowing that you are not separate from life, you are life. You are not a drop in the ocean, hoping to be accepted by the tide. You are the tide. You are not here to seek love, you are here to embody it. You are not a fractured soul trying to be repaired. You are a whole presence awakening from a long, forgetful sleep. So breathe with that truth now. Breathe in the peace that comes from no longer needing to chase. Breathe in the relief of no longer needing to perform. Breathe in the beauty of no longer trying to earn what was already yours. Your enoughness, your belonging, your divine place in the tapestry of existence. This is not something you achieve. This is something you allow. Release then, not just what was heavy, but what was hollow. Release the ideas that never truly fit, the beliefs that whispered you were too much or not enough. Release the rush to arrive and honor the sacredness of the unfolding. Release the habit of self-neglect disguised as productivity. Release the mask that smiles when your soul longs to speak. Let it fall. Let it all fall gently, like autumn leaves returning to the earth. And as everything false is laid to rest, you realign not through effort, but through remembrance. You realign by breathing into the space where your soul can finally stretch. You realign by walking your path with less armor and more presence. You realign by choosing grace when the old patterns call you back. You realign by honoring the truth, even when it trembles on your lips. Let this be your new rhythm. Not striving, but listening. Not forcing, but flowing. Not waiting to be chosen, but knowing you are already chosen by life itself. Your existence is not a mistake. It is music, it is medicine, it is movement. And when you live from this place, you do not need to seek purpose, it begins to seek you. In the still corners of the day, may you find yourself softening. In the chaos of the world, may you become the calm. In the mirror, may you meet not a reflection of failure, but the eyes of someone who dared to return. And with each returning breath, may you remember, nothing outside of you holds the key. It is in your inhale, it is in your release, it is in the courage to realign, again and again. So live gently now, not as someone racing toward healing, but as someone who is no longer hiding from it. Live boldly now, not as someone demanding to be seen, but as someone finally willing to see. Live fully now, not because you've figured it all out, but because you've stopped needing to. And when the world asks who you are, may your very presence answer, I am not who I was. I am not what happened. I am not the echo of my fears. I am the breath returning home. I am the space between the noise. I am the soul. Awake in my own name. Breathe. Release. Realign. And let your life, from this day forward, be the reflection of a soul finally free.